I'm Representative Kristen Robbins. I represent District 37A, which is Western Maple Grove and Western Hennepin. And I'm also the chair of the new Fraud and State Agency Oversight Committee in the House. And I'm here to talk about the work of our committee. As you know, we were supposed to have our first hearing today at 8:15, and it was unceremoniously canceled over the weekend. So we still wanted to show you that we are here doing the work and what the hearing would have brought forth, and the other topics we're going to be working on during this time while we wait to have another public hearing, hopefully very soon. So the topic originally for today was we had invited Commissioner Jody Harpstead from DHS to come over and share with us her insights of what has gone on in her tenure at the committee. As you know, there's nearly been $500 million in fraud since 2019, and a lot of it is under the purview of that committee. So we had invited her, and she declined. So our next person we had invited was Bill Glahn. He's a senior policy fellow at the Center of the American Experiment, and he was coming to share his fraud and waste tracker that he has put together for the Center of the American Experiment, and share his testimony of what he's discovered in all these different areas. And I'll just note that he put together this entire fraud tracker, and it's available on the Center's website. And this has been going on a long time. And he has very specific examples of things that are still being litigated, still being investigated. Some of it we know the outcome of it. Some we're still waiting for. I know the second Feeding Our Future trial starts on February 3rd. So all of this is still really relevant. And we, as a House legislative body, have never had any oversight of this. And it's honestly been very shocking that for 6 years, while the worst of this fraud has been going on, the House has never had a hearing. And I'm very disappointed that, again, today we were stymied from having a hearing. But these are committee members and other members of the Minnesota House Republican Caucus, and we are still going to do the work, whether we can hold a public hearing. So we just want to be very clear on that point. This is not a partisan issue. As you know, the governor put out his executive order and talked about his fraud prevention efforts. And we're grateful for that, and we hope to have a partnership with the governor. But I have to say that if he was serious about this, he would have, instead of telling his commissioners not to show up, he would have required them to show up. And he would also require his commissioners to respond to our information requests, which, again, he has not done. So I think the proof will be in the pudding on whether the governor is serious about working with us on fraud. But either way, we are going forward with our work. And, you know, I just want to remind everyone that we've said it a couple times, it's not a partisan issue, but former U.S. Attorney Andy Lugar highlighted this when he was talking about fraud. And he said, quote, "I think there needs to be a lot more done, and people need to have more serious conversations about getting to the root of this and stopping it before it happens. I just see it, and no other state had a Feeding Our Future. We did. No other states have had the kind of problems we had with government fraud." This is Democrat U.S. Attorney Andy Lugar. He says we have to get a handle on it and stop it before it happens. And that is the mission of our committee, and we are very committed to it. In addition to doing the overview with Bill Glahn, we also plan to have hearings on individual issues, including CCAP, including medical transportation, including other things whistleblowers have been bringing to us. People ask me, what are you going to do now that you can't have the hearings? Well, we're doing the work. In the last 2 weeks, I can't count the number of whistleblowers who have reached out to us from state agencies, people who want to share what they know is going on and they felt that they didn't have a voice or wouldn't be protected. So we just want everyone to know we will honor the whistleblower protections. I'm also chief authoring a bill that will provide additional whistleblower protections in the House. That bill was heard in the Senate last week, and it had a hearing scheduled for tomorrow, which was canceled. But we are committed to whistleblower protections, and we are also setting up on our committee page a whistleblower sort of portal where people can provide information, and we'll reach back to you and provide confidentiality and have meetings so that their identity is protected. The people who work on these programs, by and large, want to make sure the people they're there to serve get served. And they share our frustration about the fraud that's going on because it's not helping Minnesotans. So we are here to say that the committee work is going to continue. We will continue to meet with whistleblowers, continue to identify topics that need attention, and hope our Democratic colleagues come and join us in this work. It is a bipartisan issue. It's a separation of powers issue. The legislative branch should be providing oversight of the executive branch. And so I hope our colleagues show up this afternoon and we can get back to work. If so, I'll maybe try to still get another hearing this week, but otherwise the work continues. We are committed to solving the problem of fraud in state government, and we owe it to the taxpayers and the citizens of Minnesota to continue. So, any questions?
You said you couldn't count the whistleblower complaints. I bet you could. How many are there?
Oh my gosh. I mean, if I really sat down, I have a spreadsheet in my office, but at least 24 of people have reached out over the last week. And what's really heartbreaking is, so I've had conversations by phone with some of them already, and others I have meetings scheduled with. But there was one I was supposed to have a conversation with on Friday, and this person accepted the call Friday only to the point to say that this person had been told he was not allowed to talk to me. People are scared. This is happening in real time in our state, where people know there's fraud and they want to report it, and then they are clamped down on. That happened to me Friday morning. And so we just want to assure people that there is a fairly strong whistleblower protection law already on the books, and we are going to follow it and enforce it and protect them. But we are also working to even expand the whistleblower protection in Minnesota.
Are most of those whistleblowers coming from like one particular agency, like DHS, or I guess what does that look like, their representation?
You know, so far it's been a fairly broad, across broad number of agencies of government. So certainly DHS we've been in contact with people there, but it's not only state agencies. I've had people on the private sector side who administer the grants come and contact me and say what they have found and what they are seeing and the red flags they encounter. So it's both private sector, people who are trying to provide services to the best of their ability, and finding fraud and people in agencies.
Do you think Armstead would have a different answer when she is no longer the commissioner? Isn't that in a couple of weeks?
You know, that's why we wanted her today, because her last day is February 3rd. So today was the last day our committee is scheduled where she will be in office. And it's a significant disappointment that A, she declined, and then B, our hearing was canceled. I don't know that she will make herself available when she's not a public employee, but we'll certainly reach out to her. And I do have a private meeting scheduled with her on the 29th, which I believe is Wednesday. So I am going to have a private meeting with her while she's still in office.
Could you schedule a hearing for a different date if this committee were to actually lawfully be formed? If that, if the House has a quorum, this committee is actually formed, then you could schedule a hearing and have her come before her last date.
Yes, as chair, I have the latitude to schedule a different meeting than the hearing schedule. Our hearing schedule is Mondays at 8:15. So I would have the latitude to get that squeezed in. If our colleagues on the other side come today, we would certainly do that. I would shoot for Friday morning at 8:15 because I know there's a room available.
Isn't that part of the DFL offer that we've heard, is that there would be in an oversight committee such as this, you'd be the chair and you'd have it for 2 years?
You know, I'm not privy to those nuanced discussions. I've heard they are willing to support an oversight committee whenever they do decide to come back, but I don't know, the parameters of what they're willing to support.
I'll tell you, like, what they've told us is
Okay.
that you would have control of the oversight committee for the entire 2 years, regardless of what happens in the election in Roseville.
Well, that's encouraging. I hope that they come back so we can make that happen. We could have a hearing Friday morning. So I welcome that, and I hope to have, and I look forward to Democrat participation on the committee. I really believe there is bipartisan concern about fraud. Neither party wants to see taxpayer money wasted or citizens not getting services. So I really see this as one of the committees that's going to function really well.
Is it like Peter said, though, you gotta resolve this war over fraud before you can actually commit to the war on fraud?
I don't see it as a war over fraud internally. I think this is the legislative branch doing our work. Our caucus has shown up. We're here every day. I've been here every day since January 14th. I'll be here tomorrow. Like, we are here doing the work, meeting with people regardless of what our friends on the other side do. And when they come back and when the House is able to have a hearing, I will organize it as quickly as I can. We are ready to go. I have pages of things we could talk about. Anyone else? Oh, and check out our new logo. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.